Class is in session, this is the show where knowledge is profit, just so you know. Army Piper, OC guy, and Trade Fly, bringing crypto news to the whole alumni. It's the word on the market, the one-stop shop for the info you need every time that it drops. The go-to show that you need right now. This is Piper Academy, it's all going down, let's go.
Hey everybody, welcome to Black Monday. It is like Dumpster Friday. It's Black Monday now. So we're going to be going through a lot of data today, guys. We've got big reasons why everything, not just crypto, not just the stock markets, everything's dumping. Gold's going down. The US Dixie is going down. We're going to be looking at all those reasons why. And I'll tell you the first one right off the bat. It's called carry trades. We're going to learn about that today at the Academy, guys. Get your notebooks out. Classes in session. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the show. This is Piper Academy. We come at you every single Monday through Friday right here on the Morning Market Report to bring you guys the data that you need to have because there's a lot of things that you guys need to know, and you don't know if you don't know where to go look at, right? So we're going to teach you guys a couple of things today. We got a lot of stuff going on in the markets. Sell-off overnight was horrible. That would be the Asian market open. That's why TradeFly went live last night with FD White, dropping that knowledge about what was going on with the Asian markets and how the crypto markets were looking because of that last night on Crypto Nightcap. So if you guys aren't watching that show right here on Piper Academy in the evening, you're missing out on some really good data. But I'm not doing the show by myself today. I've got my OC guy over here with me, my ride or die. What's up, bro? How you doing, man? You riding shotgun on the show today? I see you there.
Thank you. So, I mean, it was a pretty interesting weekend to say the least. I mean, also I want to shout out Alex of Crypto because on the Friday class on Chart Prime, he did actually kind of like a crystal bullet. He said, "Do you know what would be amazing? To have a dump on on Saturday, have a CME gap, and then a pump on Monday. So hopefully his pump on Monday comes reality." Let's see how if he knows it or not.
Nope.
But so far,
nope, not happening, bro. Not happening. I don't even think that we've gotten started. That's why the thumbnail says the next move will shock because smart money has been dumb money for a long time, and that's why we're in this position that we're in. I feel like you are so much bigger than me right now. I have the size issue there. I made myself bigger. I'm big boy now. There we go. Let's take a look here at what we're seeing in the news, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about this, guys. We got Eric Wallen. I'm going to choke slam you, man. The composite man is bringing the boat back. It's a funny joke. We'll explain that too. Guys, we're going to look at carry trades from Japan. This is a big reason what's going on. Then we got, on top of that, we've got war fear. We are the closest we've ever been to World War III right now with what's going on in the Middle East and North Korea and Russia and Ukraine. Like it's stacking up, right? So we got that going. And then we've got the recession fears. So we're going to be looking at all of this data. We're going to put it all together and we're going to try to figure out, do we have any place that we can softly land this big thing called Bitcoin? And what is that going to look like for the alts along the way? So we're going to look at all of that and more right here. Let's jump over into the news though first, guys. Fear and greed index. We're in fear. We're at 26. We're in fear. And, that's okay. I'm surprised it's not extreme fear. This probably will be hitting that sometime soon. Coming soon to a fear and greed index near you. Let's jump over into the crypto bubbles. And you guys can see here the crypto bubbles looking quite red today. Even on the daily. Like, let's look at the week. Let's see anything on the weekly. No. How about the monthly? Oh, look, HNT is green on the monthly. So my helium miner, thank God it's still going. XRP still up on the monthly. You can see we're getting a little bit of a bounce here on market open. Actually, let me do something, guys. I want to jump over here and we're going to kick out of this news thing today. We're going to come to this news thing and I want to go see what the heat map looks like on the stock market open. Let's go look. Okay, there we go. Stock market looking red. Nvidia's down 11.4%. Apple's down 6.88. Microsoft is down 4.5. Google is down 4.9. Meta, yeah, guys, the NASDAQ taking a beating right now. NASDAQ futures down 4.18% according to this. And you can see the sea of red that's going on here. There is a few green items in here. Like, what is this one? What are you? Mondelez International. That's green. There you go. Big deal. A lot of red going on there. Okay, cool. Let's go back to that news piece, because I did want to see what that market open looked like with this turning green. But yeah, it's only on the hourly, guys. It's a little bounce. First time ever someone praised helium. That's retro. I got a little miner over here, man. Got this miner over here. You know, it's okay. Let's go look at these liquidations, guys. In the past 24 hours, 314,774 traders were liquidated. Total liquidations at $1.1 billion. Largest single liquidation. We saw this one last night. Bitcoin, 27 million bucks, guys. Economic calendar for this week, and then we're going to bring it back to dual camera. We're going to talk about a couple of things because you guys may not fully understand what a carry trade is. So we're going to break that down for you. This week, guys, today we got ISM services, PMI expected to be up a little bit. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Well, let's go look at it and see. ISM services, PMI, U.S. tumbled to 48.8 in June, the sharpest contraction. Markets were expecting 52.5, 53.8. Business activity index. So let's go down here and see what it is. It is a report on business. It's based on data compiled from purchasing and supply executives nationwide. Survey responses reflect the change, if any, in the current month compared to the previous month. So basically, it's new orders for deliveries and employment services. So yes, if that is high, that's good. If it comes in below that, 48.8, not good. So there you go. That breaks that one down for us. Other big ones this week, guys, it looks like initial jobless claims, which is a weekly report, and import exports. That's going to be an indicator, one for us. Balance of trade, of course, and all that. Next big one's going to be on August 13th, getting into next week, man. That's the PPI. Month over month. So that's what we got there. All right, let's go back to DuoCam. Let's talk about this. Ihachi, what's up, Tobias? Amy lives crypto in the house. Blackie Chan, H&T has massive potential. Yeah, baha, Eric Wallen says. Will be much lower very soon. Okay, let's go over and look real fast here, OC, and let's see where everything's at on the crypto side, okay? Let's jump in there, and then let's talk about these reasons, because we looked at the bubbles, but we didn't really talk about the current price, guys. Bitcoin's currently at 51,823. It is down 14.9% on the day. Ethereum down 21% for the day. It's at 2,300 right now currently, okay? What else we got here? Everything's down. I mean, 18.5 on BNB, 17.5 on Solana, 16.6 on XRP. Let's go find Caspa here. Caspa's down 24.5, guys. It's sitting at number 22. Everything pretty much getting just completely wrecked. There you go. Tron's only down 7%. There you go. There's your strong one. Now let's talk about this, OC. So big reason that this stuff is down. Markets are opening in the red. I'm going to keep an eye on those markets, by the way. Let me just pull up over here. And actually, let's bring it up so people can watch the chart. I want people to be able to watch the chart as we're talking about this. So you can see we are getting a bounce here on Bitcoin. We're going to go into this TA in just a second, but I want to keep this up while we talk. So Japanese carry trades. I want you guys to imagine that, the Japanese yen, Japan has not had any interest rates at all. They've been at flat for a long time, over a decade plus, right? United States, all these other countries, yeah, we had cheap loan rates. We had cheap interest rates to take loans for a long time, but now they're up high, right? So for years, for decades, what a lot of people have been doing, big money, is they've been borrowing money using their currency. For example, we'll say an American, okay, using US dollars. They're buying loans on the yen, right? So the $1,000 US dollars goes into Japan, and they buy the yen. They take out a loan at 1.5% because it's a 0% inflation. Our interest rate there, loan rate, because banks tack on top of that based on risk, to 1.5, right? So that guy takes his $1,000 of U.S. money that he got in the yen, which, by the way, was way cheaper, right? So the yen either stays static or it drops. And so that's how that works. And then so it's really cheap for them to pay it back. Like, hey, odds are the yen's going to go down even more, right? So when I go to pay back this $1,000, it's not actually going to cost me $1,000. It might cost me $900 because of the exchange rate. So they move that money over back to their account. They decide, how am I going to invest? Well, I can either invest in bonds, I can invest in equities, I can invest in real estate. But if I really want to make some money on this, I'm going to invest in the Magnificent Seven. And so I invest in the Magnificent Seven. Like, say I go into NVIDIA, we'll just say that because that's a big one, right? A lot of people have money in NVIDIA, and you see it just keep going up. So you're like, this is a good place for me to put this money. I'm going to go ahead and drop it over here into that. And so I decide that I want to be a degen with it. I can either leave it there and just let it make, its money, right? Or I can even degen it and do a little bit of leverage on it, do a margin spread and put, make it $2,000 with 50% cost, right? And so I put that money in there into NVIDIA. NVIDIA starts to do its massive run up, and I'm feeling good about this. Yen is staying, static or weakening against the money that I'm making. US dollar looking stronger, right? We saw that Dixie keep pumping and pumping and pumping previously. Matter of fact, I can even show you that as I'm talking about it here. We saw that, going on. The Dixie was really doing good, pumping up there, getting all that upside movement, right? And then all of a sudden we come along on to the Japan actually raising the interest rate 25 basis points, first time ever. They did it again last week. So what is happening is now it's looking like Japanese yen, because the Japanese yen is a strong currency, believe it or not. It just weakens against the US dollar a lot in a lot of big nations. So they move that money into, people now want to put their money over into the yen, which is creating that massive move on that. And I can actually pull this up here. We'll talk about it. Let's look at the Japanese yen to US dollar. And let's take a look here, right there. Look at this, guys. That is the yen since Friday to now versus the US dollar. The yen is absolutely just pumping crazy, right? So we get that move into the yen now. A lot of money going over there. Yen's going up in value. But what happened to that $1,000 US that I owed to Japan? Right, I owe $1,000 worth of yen that I bought at the previous rate. It's gone up, so now I owe even more money to them. And at the same time, all these people that are now seeing that the yen is going up and that carry trade is going to cost them more to pay back, they look at their stocks at all this war recession, fear recession, all this, people that knew Japan's currency strengthening and them raising rates meant potential sell-off, so they got out first, and their stock starts to come down. NVIDIA starts to crash. They dump, right? And so they now have lost money in the stock market. They now owe more money than what they borrowed to Japan. And at the same time, Japan's currency, they've got this default margin. So they get double margin called. Like, hey, you will put up this money. We're taking this money. And oh, by the way, you took the money that we gave you and you put it over there and you got a margin call on that too. And so people are left selling off massively on everything to cover all of their calls, taking losses. And that's what we're seeing. Matter of fact, article that I'm watching today says today may be, and let's jump over to that. We'll go ahead and bring that up on here. We may actually be seeing the first time stock markets around the world. There's that whole Japan thing. That great thread here, by the way, on the yen carry trade, a term that you're probably going to hear many times this week, according to the Kabisi letter. He said that we may see the first circuit breaker since 2020 in the stock market today. Here's what to watch. Let me spread this open again. Let me get that. Go back down to it. Here's what you need to watch. There we go. First circuit breaker, index falls 7%, triggering a 15-minute trading halt, which means, if you guys don't know, a circuit breaker is a thing built into the stock market that stops it from dumping too fast, okay? So first circuit breaker, index falls 7%, triggering a 15-minute trading halt. For 15 minutes, nobody can trade. The second circuit breaker, index falls 13%, triggering a second 15-minute trading halt, which means 15 minutes, no more trades. The third circuit breaker index falls 20%, shutting down trading for the rest of the day. And that is what we could see this week. That's the pressure that is going on with the sell. So I wanted you guys to understand something that was very complex in the most simple way so that you understand when you hear carry trade, what it means. It means that people that thought they were smart, and they were for a long time, are now getting wrecked because they could not foresee that Japan was going to do something they'd never done. We're going to add 25 basis points in our interest rate, right? And we're going to strengthen the yen to everybody. And you see that going up since Friday. 70% move to the upside on the valuation of the yen to the US dollar. Let's go ahead and get into some TA, guys, and let's start looking at that. And then I also want to go back and take a real quick look at the red heat map there on the bloody red heat map there on stocks today. But OC, before I go over there, your thoughts on this Japanese trade, the carry trade? And we've got war, potential war. If you guys aren't tracking, we're like it's really close to World War III going on, and then on top of that, we've got recession fears. So that's why I said it's the perfect storm going on right now to wreck all of the markets, and everything is going down except for, well, it is going down too. The treasury bonds, they're going down, which means people are buying the crap out of U.S. treasury bonds right now. That is the only safe spot, that in the U.S. dollar, but even the Dixie is going down, even though it's the safe spot for people to go because it's being compared to the basket of other currencies. So U.S. in big trouble right now. Your thoughts on this, OC? Go.
Well, absolutely. Very quick. I mean, everything is screaming WW3, right? I mean, we also can see wider presence on Venezuela, and also a price on Maduro's head of 100 million in almost dark water U.S. Militia, kind of like thinking about it, right? So I think what it is time to do is just to retrace or fall back a little bit. Remember, guys, that the best areas to buy it is when everything is red, when there's fear in the market. But also remember that it's important never to dive fully in. You need a plan of investment. You need a little bit of certainty on those markets. And if you don't see that certainty on the markets, well, then you need to see those support areas, right? Remember, there is a certain amount of money that I will be willing to invest throughout this cycle. And once that money is in there, I will no longer keep investing, and I'll be holding my investment there. Remember what I got? I got my FOMO money. And after that FOMO money, I still have 10% more just in case something like a black swan happens. But other than that, nothing will make me spend that extra 10% in the markets unless I see that huge event playing out, right? Remember that it's about having a plan and keep on that plan, and do not FOMO, neither put into the markets, because both extremes are very dangerous, especially to your wallet. So yeah.
Absolutely. Let's go over and take a look at some charts here, guys. First off, right here, I do have the Dixie up. Looking at the Dixie, you can see the big sell-off. I'm looking at dailies here. Let's go ahead and drop this to a 4-hour, and you'll see it's just a nice, steady downward pace there. The Dixie down all the way down to 102.3. And again, we talked about the reason why on this is because it's compared to a basket of other currencies, and the Dixie's looking weak. Let's go down and talk. I see Blackie Chan saying, look at the bond market. That's what we were just talking about. So let's go take a look at that, guys. And you'll see where the money's going. We can go right in here. Nope, that's stock. That's stock flow. That's the money flow. I have a 2-year in here. There it is, 2-year. There you go, guys. You can see there, looking at that on the 4-hour, we are getting a little bounce down here, but you see this big, massive dump down here from 4-hour. We can put this on the daily, and there you go. That bit right there, that is people buying the U.S. bonds. A 2-year bond is exactly what that is. So this big move down here, this is people buying. So the lower this goes, the lower the interest rate is being offered. You can see that right there. It's 3.7% there. Because as more people buy it, they don't need to invite people to buy more. So that is what we're seeing there, is a sell-off of the bond, meaning people are buying the bond because if they were not buying it, it would be going up the higher interest rate to entice people to buy it, right? So people buying up that debt right now, and that is where all the money is going, hands down. That's where it's going right there. So the VIX, let's go take a look at that. If you guys don't know what the VIX is, it is it's the volatility index, and I don't know that I have it on my chart, but we will add it though. This I consider this like insurance. For the stock market, when stocks are doing bad, then you look at the VIX and see how it's doing. And it will tell you, there it is, volatility S&P. This is insurance. When markets are going down in dumping, this usually pumps, right? So it's the inverse. It's the inverse index for stocks. There you go. Had to get that out. It is pumped. It hit an all-time high here, 65.78. Was not all-time high. It hadn't been this high since COVID crash, right? And we are getting a slight pullback on that here on the daily, but that's just because people taking their profit, waiting to see how the market's open. So that's what happened there with that. And let's go back and look at that heat map, and then let's go do some Bitcoin. Let's go do some Bitcoin TA. I want to get that reopened and get it refreshed. Stocks, thank you very much. Yeah, still looking horrible. Getting a little bit of a pullback up today, but still down to the downside. It's just a little retracement going. So let's go and pull up what we got over here on Bitcoin. Let's take a look at that, guys. We are in this zone. So the zones, the levels that we have been talking about for a while, I do want to get that to load. Thank you very much. Let's go in and pull a fixed range volume profile. I got one in here somewhere. That's the up channel. We'll pull a new one. Oh, there it is. I do have one open. Okay. Yeah, we lost that value area low here. This is the range that I was initially talking about. I said, we do have this range right here. This is your CME gap. Okay. And I said, that's probably going to get closed. We talked about it a long time ago, and then it became relevant again, right? So what's up, Artspit? How you doing, bro? He said, hi, all. Good vibes. Appreciate you, man. We did lose that. We came down. We lost the golden pocket. The 618, 56,000 fell right through it like it was nothing. We have this range box down here. Now, what is this range box based on? Well, I pulled it off of the 50% fib, 48,528. If you guys remember back when I was talking about $48,000 Bitcoin, this was the reason why we had the fib down there, because I said we have this volume node right here, and you can see that volume node for this chunk of price action, right? And I said, well, we're going to look at the top of that. That would be 52.7. If we go below that, well, yeah, we could close this out, but it's very likely we're just going to wick down to that 50% at 48K, and that will be what I would watch for bottoming. With the data coming out right now and us being that close to 48K, guys, I have to take into account this entire range right here. And this range is coming in between 45,000 to $40,000 Bitcoin. And that's what I'm watching there closely. Let's come over here and put this on a weekly, because at some point you got to go, you know what? I'm way too close to this. Even on the daily, daily's too close. Let's go and look at a weekly and see how we're looking on these oscillators. Guys, we still have a long way to go to really bottom out like we typically do on these oscillators. So yeah, I'm not going to be surprised if we come down on the weekly, hit down here, that 382 range, hit the bottom of that box, close out this liquidity, and look there, guys, coming in a weekly dynamic reactor from Chart Prime's indicator, very, very key level of support at $40,700, $40,800, we'll call it. That's what I'm going to be watching. OC, let's jump over to your chart, see what you're seeing. And then we will just start taking a look at, I mean, guys, we can look at alts today. But in all honesty, until we get bottoms on Bitcoin, those alt bottoms, they could be parabolically greater, 3x, 4x more to the downside than what Bitcoin does move. I'll just we'll talk about Bitcoin. We'll look at a few charts for you guys of some major stocks, high liquidity stuff. We'll look at that. But then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about what we're doing, how are we dealing with this sell-off, because everyone's got different approaches to it. So OC, what do you got in your chart, bro?
Well, right here on Bitcoin, we can see right here that we are getting into one of my boxes. Remember that I'm not ready to allocate money when we are here, as we were breaking through the zero line. So we did not had anywhere near close to a movement to the zero line. So I wasn't ready to jump back into a leverage position. What is the next area of support of entry? It's gonna be right here. But once again, guys, not because it is right on my boxing here that I'm expecting it to jump in. And let me increase the length of it. There we go. And I'm going to be doing it like that. And of course, right click it once again and lock it. Remember, guys, lock your feeds, lock your charts so nothing start moving out of order, right? Not because it is right there on my point of entry means that I should be jumping in. What I want to see are points of reversals. Remember that only in very specific areas, when we see maybe a pull down or maybe a quick wig back into those areas, big quick taste of those waters and pull back, that's when maybe you can consider to jump in to maybe have a V-shaped recovery like this one. But other than that, where everything is pointing bearish, bearish, and bearish, well, then there is no point to buy something that you expect to keep going downwards, right? So what am I saying this? Let me just jump back really quick into the SPX and the S&P 500. Remember that we were expecting this movement sideways along a side, let's just say upwards moving trend, right, while still being bearish. That's why we have this arrow pointing at this point. We start doing that, but since we lost the dynamic reactor, well, then what is the next point of confidence that we were talking about? We were talking about this area right here. Why? Because that is the bottom of this rising triangle. So I will put my eyes on the S&P 500 and also on crude oil for those signals. So what signals am I looking for? Well, then maybe a bounce, which, by the way, let me just be clear right now. We are breaking through that support. So I'm not there yet on getting anywhere bullish, but something that is interesting is that we just had our red tick in here. So we could be seeing maybe a retracement. A retracement doesn't mean a change of a trend, but only means a possible bounce, right? So when I start seeing maybe this bounce change, I'll be looking back at Bitcoin and of course looking maybe at a swing fail pattern, breaking back into this channel here, maybe change of consolidation score, and of course the very first thing that I want to see is our market pumps. Remember that Friday we were looking at the market dumps, so we did got an early notice right here, right? Another important thing that I'll be looking for of course I'm going to be jumping in, it's going to be the break through the zero line of my oscillator. Remember, guys, we need to start seeing or looking for confirmations, or at least if you are feeling a little bit risky and you want to jump in at the very bottom of the movement, start looking for extra confluence right there, maybe order blocks being built up in there, which at this point we don't have just yet, right? Maybe having some, well, we do have a discount zone, some big supports, maybe a liquidity area or something along those lines. But as we stand right now, we haven't had any chance to build on up on that. And also, of course, what we have learned today on the news with Piper, seems like we could be having at least a little bit of a ranging area, which, by the way, is not bad as long as we start flipping these red indicators into the bullish side. But so far, it is patience, guys. It is time to be waiting. So other than that, let me throw it back to you, Piper. And up ahead, I'll touch on oil because I think there's something important about the crisis that you talked about, and I want to touch a little bit on it. But turning it back to you for now.
Yeah, we also got a request for the Russell 2000 from Blackie Chan, and I'm going to take care of Cleanspark for RSAN 246. By the way, Blackie Chan got his $75 USDT. I want to point out, last Friday we did a giveaway, and we gave away, the Piper Academy gave away to our members $150 total in USDT. $75 went to RSAN 246. Still hasn't hit me up for that. You might want that dry powder now, bro. The other 75 went to Blackie Chan. We told you guys we were not giving away crypto. Last Friday I said I'm not giving out crypto because I think it's going down a lot more, and I don't want to give you something that's going down in value. So I'm going to give you some dry powder. We told you guys that on Friday as a heads up. We wanted you guys to know. So that is why we did that giveaway on Friday, and USDT was not going to give you guys something going down in value. Shout out to Archbit, by the way, gifting one Piper Academy membership. So shout out to him. That membership went to Bit Innuendo. So glad to see you in there, man. And shout out to the investing bros that are just joining us in the chat right now. Guys, where's all the money going? We just talked about this a second ago, and we said that this money would very likely be going into bonds. Take a look at this article here. This is from the Dow Jones Newswire. It says, I'm just going to read the headlines here for you. Funds likely to switch to bonds from equities if market volatility persists, according to Market Talk. And that's what we're seeing going on there. As far as the altcoins go, guys, let's jump over here right there. Total 2. We have been talking about this pattern in here for a while. And we said, look, when we break out of this, that's when we go into altcoin season. Well, we got to touch on it, but we never broke through this. We did not get this breakout like we had previously in the total 2. We actually broke to the downside, and this is not the normal cycle for altcoins, guys. Just showing you that we're not looking at normal cycle stuff going right now. Shout out to Crypto AI saying good morning. Appreciate you, man. So what we're seeing here is total 2 getting wrecked. This means that altcoin valuation is absolutely sinking in comparison to the price of Bitcoin. So just again, guys, be very careful with what's going on there with that. So also touching one last thing. Guys, we lost our range here. This has been our, hey, as long as we're in this range, this is a typical ranging method for Bitcoin consolidation period before breakout. We've actually lost it also. And I do want to point out that $48,000 target that we're talking about on that other chart. Let's go back there just to show you, give you a little refresher reminder, since we do have people coming in over there from the Investing Bros group, guys. That $48,000 range down there in the bottom of that box that we've been talking about, based on the volume and based on that 50% fib. I do want to show you that when we look at this chart, that is 48.6 right there coming in on that 786. That's platinum pocket right there going back into phase 3. So $48,000 is a very strong level. If we do not hold that again, guys, though, I do think that we are looking at heading down to this previous range down here that we would be the 382 at $40,000, high side 45. So as of right now, we are getting a little bit of a pullback up today. You can see this on the 4-hour, getting a little flag action going on here, but we are pulling back up out of that range that we've been watching there. Can I get a refresh on that thing? Rick, thanks. Right there. So it looks like what we got going on right here, what we need. This is what we need before I go into Cleanspark. We need to put a little Haktua on there. We're going to need some growth of this candlestick right there. So let's jump over to my chart and let's take a look here at Cleanspark. We had a request for that. And then we're going to come back. OC is going to be taking a look at oil, and we're going to see what's going on there. It's a good indicator, economic indicator going on that side. If you guys are just joining us, welcome to the Piper Academy Show. This is a morning open report on the market open, and we go over a lot of data. So this is the right place to get knowledge. Knowledge is profit. Thanks for joining us here today. If you guys get any value out of today's content, please hit that like button and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Let's take a look at Cleanspark here. Cleanspark target that I had called out, $10.42. We have come down and bounced on it. We did get a slight wick below it onto that 382 at $10, but it does look like this call of this line of $10.42, getting a good bounce there. What I'm going to be watching for is, you see this red line right here, guys. This red line is your 300-day exponential moving average. I am watching for that price to bounce back up there and see if it gets a rejection. That would be a retest, because you can see we gapped down on Cleanspark's opening. We did hit, this is the overnight market open right here, and then this is the market open this morning. So we did get a gap down. I am going to be watching to see if it gets above that 300-day moving average. And so let me go over here. I'm going to try to grab a path. Let's do a path. I think path's a lot cleaner. And then we're going to look at how this works. Come here, path. Where are you? Right there. I'm going to be watching for us to come up and hit to this 300 right there. Okay, this 300-day moving average, if we reject off of it, very likely heading back down. But if we break through it, watch for a gap close here. That gap close coming in right there. We could even reject on to that 200-day moving average before coming back down, and that would be cleaning out that gap that would retest the 200 and then would come back down. And then we have the question of, are we going to bounce on the 300 again? This could be an indication of Cleanspark finding some support in this range here, but $10.42 did hold as we did wick below it, but it's held as a candle open this morning. So if you guys were listening on that one, congrats to you. I do want to point out that down here, we are looking seriously oversold, and we do have a really deep RSI. This is the relative strength index turned into candles, really deep RSI going right now. So this could be a chance for a little bit of rebound this morning, but overall, we've still got data that's going to continue to pressure, selling pressure against buying pressure. And that's, of course, potential hostilities in the Middle East going on still. And we still have that whole thing of recession. So that's what I wanted to touch on there, just to show you guys Cleanspark, show you where we are with Bitcoin in comparison to those altcoins. OC, you got that oil up, and are you going to run with the Russell 2000 right after that?
I have the oil. I don't have the Russell pull up, but I can do it right after it.
Okay. All right, let's jump over there, and then I'll try to see what I'm seeing on the Russell also. And just in case you don't have time to do a full analysis on, let's kick it over. Let's check out oil.
Absolutely. So oil basically disrupting the kind of like the pricing here. This is not something that I like to see. Nonetheless, it is not as bad as I could be expecting so far, right? Remember that in here I was expecting maybe a swing failed pattern, basically expecting this trend line to play it out, not only because we had a trend line, but also because we had a measured target out of this other area here. Also, what happened there, we used to have, not anymore, we used to have, and where is it, order blocks in at these areas, and they are gone already. So we need to take a look at what happens with oil, guys. This is something important. You might see, and we might see two different scenarios here, right? Half of the alumni might say, well, when we have a crisis, price of oil goes high, and that might be because of the example of the so Gulf War of 1990s or 1991, right? Or the other side might say, well, no, they should go down because there are less activity in global markets, right? Both cases scenarios are great and they are truth. The important thing here is to look what is happening in the news, right? And compare that to the oil scenario. Remember that, for example, for price decline scenario, we can look at economic recessions or slow down. Basically, economics go down, transportations go down. We're using less oil, and therefore transportation do not move as much goods, and the price of oil plummets. Remember COVID-19 2020, we even got negative price for the oil, right? In other case scenario, we could also have surplus supply when we have too much expectations of a economic growth, and then we have a cutoff on that economic. And the other side of the coin will be a price increase scenario. We have two scenarios in here. We have supply disruption and also inflation expectations. So I want to touch on one thing of each. For example, in this case, in the inflation expectation, in case where the crisis leads to a fear of inflation due to excessive government spending and money politics response, well, then people might buy oil to hedge against fiat, right? So that could be one of those things. The other one will be basically having reserve.
There you go.
And also having it. Yep.
You froze there for a second. I was like, oh my goodness.
Oh.
OC, come back.
All right. So not to make things boring, I know it's a little bit tedious. Look for big movement in oil. We don't want that, right? If it drops a ton, well, then that is a signal of economical crisis. And also, if it pumps a lot, that will be also economic crisis. What we need to see, it is a stable range, right? Or in this case, a symmetrical triangle, and keep within lower boundaries and higher boundaries. So basically, I would not get that worried until we start hitting 94.67, or until we get somewhere around 71.87. So we are closer to my lower range in here to start getting a little bit worried, but we're not there yet. Remember, do not start panicking beforehand, because that will lead you to maybe take some not cool decisions with your wallet. All right. So just wanted to mention that we're not there yet on economical crisis, but we are close to it. Right. So just start preparing. Do not FOMO, do not food, and look at oil, and also look at copper, by the way. So turning it back to
Yes.
you, Copper.
Awesome. Yeah. Shout out to ArchBit, dropping 5 memberships, gifted memberships there. Went to Donato Cabrera. We got Ada Ace, DooTube, Crypto King, and Lewis B, all picking those up. Appreciate you, Archie, and ArchBit, and shout out to all of our newest members there. If you guys have not done so yet, please hit that like and hit that subscribe button. It helps us out, and you guys are new here, so subscribe. This is what we do every single morning, Monday through Friday at market open. So let's go ahead and let's take a look. Blackie, I think that you were asking for Russ, R-U-S. Are you talking about Russell Metals? Let me know in the chat if you're talking about Russell Metals or if you're talking about the Russell 2000. We'll get back to that. But I do want to go take a look at Caspa. Why do I want to look at Caspa? Well, first off, I'm hodling a lot of Caspa, first of all. Secondly, I'm seeing some things on the chart, guys. It's playing out again. Let's jump over to that chart and let's go take a look at Caspa. Caspa, come here, you. Looking at this, guys, we have some key levels that we've been talking about in here off of this extended fib extension that I've done here. Guys, look here. We came down, hit that 300-day exponential moving average there, and we are on phase 6 of the golden pocket. That's 618 at 12.8 cents, getting 3 4-hour tests. So for 12 hours, we have tested this as true. That was the box that I was talking about. Look, if we lose these areas up here, guys, this would be the next level. I think it's going to slide right past that phase 7 golden pocket, and I said we're likely going to be heading down to the 12. Now, where is my big buy-in point that I'm watching? It's this green box down here. We're going to go ahead and resize this T box. Shout out to TA Tim. I love my T boxes. He's the one that got me using these things. We do have a pullback here for target that has to do with this blue trend line. I'm going to show you what this is coming from, but that would be the 11.2 cent, 5.618 on the fib extension level, and I'm watching for that. This is my big major buy-in level, because remember, Caspa's still not on any major exchanges, anything like that yet. So if you guys are looking to learn more about Caspa, join Billy Goat Tells tomorrow night, by the way. Billy Goat Tells at 9 p.m. on the Eastern Coast, Eastern Standard Time. Billy Goat Tells is going to have Caspa team on for tomorrow night, asking some questions and doing a little AMA action. So one question I have: when major exchange, right? So let's go look at this trend line and see where this comes from. I'm going to bring this over to a daily so we can get a bit more here on the chart, guys. But this trend line comes all the way back to when I was telling our community to buy 3 cents. We started according to Blockchain Crusader. He said, you were telling us on Debate Crypto with Crypto Keeper and stuff when you were on there, buy at 3 cents. So, but I know for sure that over in the Investing Bros community, when I was a bro over there with them, I'm still a bro, but when I was on the show with them, 4.5 cents was where we were buying at. It was this point right here. And you can see this blue trend line. Let's just go ahead and get rid of the of that trend-based fib extension. Let's take a look here. There you go. So we got this trend-based fib extension off there, and you can see this long-running trend line, diagonal trend, has been support many, many times in the history here. Once we got away from it, we left it, guys. We could be returning back to that, and that is that range right there that I'm watching. That is going to be down here at about 10.7 cents currently, but I think it's going to be that 11.2 with the wick below to touch that level. So that will be where I dump a lot of money right back into Caspa. So, more money. I've been sitting on dry powder, still sitting on a lot, but that's what I'm looking at doing with Caspa right there. So I just wanted to bring that up and talk about it. OC, before we go into some altcoins here, we've got about 15 minutes before you jump into another alt that people might be asking for. I'm sure you've been watching the chat. I've been busy over here. How are you handling this dump? What are you doing with your crypto, with your money? What are you doing right now?
All right, so something important to mention, it is that I do set up many stop losses, right? Even in my holding scenarios. So there's a couple of coins. The only thing that I'm gonna be very vocal about this. The only thing that I'm gonna seriously hold, it's going to be Caspa, because the how it has been behaved, Bitcoin and Ethereum. That will be basically it. Everything else has a take profit to a 50% even for holdings, and then a stop loss as entry price. So it doesn't matter if it go to 1000% gains. I already have taken my 50% out, and I have set a stop loss at entry. That happens with, for example, XRP recently, and I did mention this live here on this class. As we saw XRP retrace, I already have taken 50% out, and then basically I'm already out of that part. So what is happening here, it is as we keep going downwards, well then, and I hit my threshold, which is my entry point, I already have paid myself, I have extra cash, and I'm building up into my dry powder to inject where I'm going to be looking at what coins are losing the less value, which strengthens my portfolio, and then allocating this extra cash to these other coins. Like, for example, Caspa has been performing very, very well. I might double down on that one. XRP, I was hoping not to drop below my point, because I do have big expectations for XRP, but has proved me wrong, and that's why we have a strategy, right? Other than that, remember that I also have a FOMO money, and that FOMO money is basically when everything fails, when everything goes wrong, and when I was not expecting something, I was prepared for that scenario. Other than that, pretty chill, because I do have my stop loss for my entries, and despite I might not be stocking on some coins, and I know I could be losing or missing on that, well then I will not be just fully in until we break the 70K range on Bitcoin. Basically, that will be my threshold for a major pump and major movement. So that's how I'm handling the dump. Yeah,
that's not much different than what I'm doing. That's not much different than what I'm doing. So as things have come down and said, okay, look, we're showing a lot more weakness here, I've been taking half profit and taking that money, especially if it was really close to my entry, because at that point I don't really pay a lot of capital gains anyways. But I've been closing out half, moving it into Bitcoin, and then taking 10% to holding cash. So if I sold 50% of an asset, of that 50%, 10% of that went into cash, the rest of it into Bitcoin. And I'm just kind of holding my space in Bitcoin right now as the safer hold, and then 10% for cash in case we do pull back some more. That way I'm still maintaining exposure, but building up a nice pool of dry powder to, in case we do get those parabolic moves to the downside, I'm going to be ready for that. I saw somebody in there in the chat talk about this, and it was actually already here on my my pullouts for X marks the spot, guys. Binance Pool launches Caspa mining pool. Enjoy zero pool fees with Cas mining. So this is a big move coming out with Binance Pool. They are going to be supporting Caspa mining. So I'm not exactly sure how this works. We'll have to have Crux take a look at it for us, because Crux does the deep dives, and he's the man with the master plan. So, but this could be very bullish. Of course, as Christian Lumley said, probably nothing. Yeah, sarcasm dripping there. This could be very big for Caspa. So yes, I am looking at moving a bunch into Caspa, especially at those ranges we just talked about. And then I saw Crux talk about ETH is really far from its all-time high. Let's go take a look here. Guys, this is how far off currently all cryptos are sitting from their all-time high. Bitcoin is down 41.78% from its all-time high that was set on March 14th of this year. Ethereum is down 108.6% from its all-time high of 2021. Still not seeing a higher high or all-time high this year. Let's see here. BNB, they're down 64.3% from their all-time high set this year, just in June. Solana is down 111% from its all-time high set in 2021. So XRP 629% from its all-time high. That's not looking too great there. ADA's down 908% from its all-time high set back in September of 2021. So I just wanted to show a few of those there, just because I see you guys talking there in the chat. So shout out to TradeFly in the chat right now. Ada, Ace in here, Billy Goat Tails, Crypto Billy in the house. So if you guys are not tracking, again, tomorrow 9 o'clock, you guys have got to go watch this. Right here, where is it? There it is, right there. Bam. Caspa, the team is going to be on Billy Go Tells tomorrow night, right here on X. Next Tuesday. That's tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, OC, let's go ahead and jump over, see what you're looking at on altcoins on the chart, and then we're going to come back. I do have a thread. This is how you guys, this is some recommendations for how you guys should approach what's coming and how bad it could get. So, a little thread we're going to take a look at on the way out. But, OC, let's see your chart, bro.
Absolutely. So take a look at ADA, because it seems like we have a couple of requests about ADA. Last time we were expecting maybe a inverse head and shoulder. Remember this part? And what was the neckline right here? We got a hard rejection twice, makes it basically making a double top. And then what is the neckline of that double top? Right, this line. So we broke it. And on the retest, here we go with a strong sell. So basically you got you covered there. Chart Prime. So shout out to Chart Prime. We're going back down. Look at that beautiful check mark here. We're having a bouncing here as expected with the flip of the ribbon. Let's just take a look at what might be happening today. Right now, it's a great chance to clean up my charts and start adding some support and resistances, right? So as we can see, if we zoom out a little bit, and I want to zoom out just enough to have a little bit more data to my left. There we go. Something like that, to add enough volume to my right side VPVR, right? So what do I have here? Basically, I am on positive numbers right here to my right. And also that means, and a low volume, that usually means smart money jump in, right? So what I want to see in here is basically a consolidation here, or something that indicates me that I have stopped falling. Another important thing will be the market prophecies turning bullish, right? And that could be a good, interesting entry or point of entry. So far, just because Bitcoin doesn't have a, let's just say, a very nice haircut, I mean, I would not be jumping into ADA so far, but I will be considering that maybe in 8 hours or maybe in 24 hours, as I see a couple more candles developing on the 4-hour charts. That will give me enough data to start looking at my oscillator and maybe look for that higher points with lower maybe price action, basically making a bullish divergence. And upon that bullish divergence, maybe take advantage of a movement to the dynamic reactor, or at least some higher volume areas in here. Again, if this turns into a holding scenario, I'll be more than happy to hold it. Not too long, because I am planning to jump in with leverage. I do not advise leverage, but I do use it. So if you're going to be doing leverage, make sure you have enough space for the markets, not to liquidate you, and also not to have a huge stop loss, but calculate that based on your earnings and your possible losses. So ADA, not looking that bad, but still we're not out of the blue, because everything is bullish right down here, and we need to wait for a little bit more before taking actions. So throwing it back to you, Piper.
Fantastic. You just broke Crypto Billy's heart talking about I would not be buying this yet, because he just bought some ADA. So hey, it might be dollar cost average. You can never go wrong dollar cost averaging. Yes. Shout out to Eric Wallen. If you guys don't know Eric Wallen in the community, he's been micro DCAing like a dollar or two, just almost every day. And he's actually up over 50% on his portfolio still. So it has played out well for him. So DCA is the way. So that's if you're starting some DCA, nothing wrong with that at all. So let's jump over here. Let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance, and then I'm going to jump in and we're going to talk about on the way out this last little bit of knowledge that you guys should all be watching. Okay, take some knowledge there. Let's jump over here and look at Bitcoin dominance, guys. Bitcoin dominance just peaked at like 57.3%. Looking at the daily here, let's pull it to the 4 hours just to get an idea. Yeah, you can see there we came up. Chart Prime said, hey, look, this is a top signal. That's the MP and that check mark there. And then it started pulling back down. I'm going to be watching for it to come down to about 56.2% before it gets another bounce. That would also give time for the dynamic reactor to get into this range here. But Bitcoin dominance is pulling back a little bit right now. That means alts are making some catch-up time. So let's jump over to here and let's talk about this. Actually, we're going to go to this one. That way OC can be on here, guys. This is from Genevieve Rockdector, CFA, certified financial advisor, okay? And she said, I've been investing in stock market for 18 years. Here are 10 things I do when there's a correction and I feel like dumping my entire portfolio. So if you're in that boat, you should be paying attention to this thread. Number one here, drink a cherry Coke and ask myself, WWWBD, what would Warren Buffett do? He's getting a lot of cash. That's what he's doing. He just sold 50% of his Apple stock. So number two, look at charts upside down. That helps. If you look at the charts upside down, it convinces you psychologically it's going up, not down. It's okay. So, if you need a little psychological boost, there's a tip for you on that one. Multiply my time horizon by 2. I want to talk about this one for a second here. If you guys were thinking by 2024 December, I'm going to be a multi-millionaire because my crypto is going to 10x from here, 15x from here. I still think that crypto is going to do phenomenal and you're still going to make a lot of money, but you might need to do what she just said there. Okay. And what she says there is multiply your time horizon by 2. If you had a plan for an 18-month plan, it might be a 3-month plan until all of this shakes out, okay? Because remember, we still have a possible 50 basis point coming out, which is going to scare a lot of people. That means the federal government has messed up. The Fed Reserve waited too long. We still have war potential, fears and sentiment out there. And then on top of that, we're not seeing any leveling out of that Japanese yen. I showed you guys 70% since Friday. So you might need to multiply your time horizon out. That's okay. We're in this for the long game. That's why we do what we do, right? Become emotionally numb. Do not panic sell. Think about why you're selling, what are you selling, and what do you intend to do with the money that you take out. That is the big thing there that you need to be paying attention to. Let me go over and see what's going on here. I'm getting a lot of beeping going on in my ear from Discord. It's nothing. Okay. So becoming emotionally numb. Number 5, be thankful I can't get a margin call because I don't use leverage. If you guys are using leverage, guys, be very, very, very careful. I know some guys that said a thing, went to the restroom, came back and got liquidated in the time they were gone. Last night, Druth was talking about it on the Blockchain Basement. He was live last night. And one of the guys set a trade, went to the restroom, came back, liquidated in the time that he was gone at the restroom. So, Warren Buffett was not investing in Bitcoin. This is true. This is a stock person, but he is looking at cash. If you separate what you think about the asset and just look at investing in an asset, Amy, and that's what I'm referring to there. He's sitting on cash. He sold out of an asset, half of it, kept 50% exposure, sitting on cash. Number 5, be thankful. Oh, that's what we did since. Number 6, remind myself that the U.S. stock market has recovered from every single crash in history. Guys, this applies to everything. Every single crash in history for Bitcoin, for stocks, especially stocks over a century of data, it's always recovered. So think about that. Remember that. It's not about, what the price is right now. If you have, for example, 1,000 tokens of Solana, guess what? You still own 1,000 tokens of Solana. As someone said on X earlier, on Twitter, X, 1 Bitcoin still equals 1 Bitcoin. Calm down. So remember that too. Number 7. Check Nancy Pelosi's latest trades. That great humor and great facts there. That's number 7. Number 8, don't open my portfolio more than once a week. If you need to step away from your charts and step away from your portfolio and just breathe, touch some grass, spend time with your loved ones, and let all of this pass, then do that. Okay. If you need to know what's going on with the markets, then tune in right here in Piper Academy. We got a lot of content that we're going to be bringing at you guys. So throw darts at my J Powell board, dartboard. There you go. So ultimately, he did wait too long. The Fed Reserve has waited too long. And then number 10, lastly, watch The Big Short for the 100th time, preferably with a family member. That is today's guidance and advice from Genevieve, financial advisor. So there's some 10 financial advices for free from her on X. So Frank Fit for Life Crypto. How does anybody support the hidden network or blockchain basement? They're all a bunch of, I'm not even reading that. Frank, because it was just talking about data. I want to talk about data. I don't care where the source of data comes from. If someone says data, then they say data, and I repeat that data. So, but yeah, that's what we have there, guys. For 10 points to handle this market dump. We talked about these levels. Again, Caspa, tomorrow night, I'm going to be jumping in over there on Billy Goat Tales to check that out and see what's going on there. So, OC, you got anything for the people on the way out, especially new people? We might have some new viewers in here right now, so they definitely need to know what happens if they hit that like button.
Absolutely. Right before we jump in that, I just want to add on something that you mentioned. I think it's important, especially for our new members. This is not just to comfort you guys, right? I mean, remember that the most important part of the economy when we see wealth transforming or migrating from one hand to another hand, it is on the crisis areas, right? And why is that? Because everything comes back up. Right? You don't want to be that guy that sells his property at dirt cheap prices and then somebody else is kind of like gets it, right? That's why you never, ever invest your leave on money, right? Basically, if you need that money for the short term, you never touch it. You better go off without investing, right? Because that is not investing, and then putting there the money that is not your savings, but it's an extra money that you are planning to grow it, and then you're willing to lose it in the worst case scenario. But again, as long as you don't sell, you're not losing anything. Remember, everything will come back up. And if you're in a losing trade, well, first of all, jump into the Piper Academy. I'm going to be trying to show you guys a couple of tips and tricks throughout this week on how to survive a losing trade, how to look for a way out. And also remember, what is your worst case scenario? So sometimes it's better to take the hit than keep investing in something that is already lost, right? So it will always feel wrong. That's something that you need to understand. No matter what you do when you're in a losing trade, anything that you do is going to feel wrong, but you need to commit to your worst case scenario and prevent it, all right? So other than that, guys, thank you so much for jumping in. And a quick reminder to hit that like button, because if you do, we might have a bounce on the market. I don't know. Click it hard enough and watch if that market bounces up. If it does, let me know. If it doesn't, also let me know. Other than that, turn it back to you, Piper.
Appreciate it, man. Guys, thanks for joining us today on Piper Academy. We're going to be back here tomorrow morning at the same time, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you guys the news, charts, and the markets. Make sure you tune in this evening to TradeFly and FDY on the Crypto Nightcap. They're going to recap what happened throughout the day, and then we'll be back here to tell you what to expect tomorrow morning. Guys, until then, trade safe if you're going to trade, or not at all. And if you do trade, use a stop loss. We'll catch you guys then. Later.
I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall low. I know you hungry. hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the soul, train ready. What a line from OCI, former Mexican spaghetti, yo. Crunch crypto with a deep dive to project dime. And if you like the visual powered by Car Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling out the wheels fall low. Sound off
to get with them, the ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean.
That was awesome, dude!